Welcome to DMV Hoop Session. I'm Noah Schubert alongside
Marquel Sanders.
Today's episode, we have a wrap-up of the Capital Hoop Summer League at Dematha High School in Hyattsville, Maryland, where we've been there for the past 6 weeks watching some amazing basketball.
Great basketball, a lot of action, some memorable moments. It was a lot of magic out there, man, a lot of magic.
We had a lot of players that stood out. We had a lot of great shooters, a lot of guys who showed off their elevation and what they've been working on over the summer.
Man, you can't forget that defense, man. That defense, every single game, it was something special, whether it be a zone, the man defense, the communications, the steals leading the turnovers, man. Definitely a great summer.
But before we get into specifics in the regular season, we got to talk about an amazing playoffs that we had. After 32 teams battled out during the regular season, it was cut down to 16, which provided a memorable and outstanding playoff run from some individual squads.
So, no, we had like two great programs this year go undefeated to come out to be the top 2 seeds in the playoffs.
Yeah, and both of them were kind of unexpected in a sense because you had a team in TAKOMA Academy that came in. No one really knew what to expect, kind of an unknown quantity, but then they came in and went 10-0 in the regular season. And then Dematha, who's a perennial powerhouse in the area, but lost their entire starting 5 to graduation after this past year with a brand new head coach in Mike Jones that just came in April. So definitely amazing to see their rise through this tournament and how they came together as a squad.
Now, again, these teams came in and did a great job. No, like TAKOMA, for a fact, TAKOMA had 5 games that they won by 25-plus points. And
you also have a team like Dematha that had 4 wins of 29 or more. So both of these squads are coming in. Dematha also having a couple close calls, including a last-second win against Georgetown.
I saw that game. That was a great game right there.
And so this a squad that really came together through the thick and the thin and kind of dominated wins, but also coming together in close calls to propel themselves to the championship game.
The playoffs started out intense, Noah. They really kicked into gear the second round. I feel like all the best teams, of course, were advanced to the second round, the teams that we looked at throughout the summer. The best matchup to me, coming off one side of the bracket, I got to go with the Dematha Gonzaga game. It came down clutch. Dematha pulled out with 1 point, thanks to Mason So, who went to the free throw line right at the end, hit 2 clutch free throws. Luckily, Nick Lewis got the ball right off the inbound and tried to heave it down court, came off the backboard, man. But then again, you got to check out that Hawks game. I don't know if everybody checked it out online yet, but you got to check it out. The Hawks versus the TINLEY Tigers. And you know Rob Dockery sat out that game. He wasn't there. The Hawks had the guys up by 20 points. Now, I thought TINLEY was going to turn over and it was going to be a wrap, you know what I'm saying? But TINLEY started putting that work in that second half, came out, the intensity picked up, the defense picked up. I believe coach switched over from man straight in the zone, and they got in transition. They came right back. But you already know Greg Jones and David King, they showed up and they showed out, man. They put on a great display of ball out there, and great teamwork, great communication, and the guys pulled out the win to advance to the next round.
And I'm here with Greg Jones, who just had a huge game, just put up 26 points here tonight, versus the TINLEY Tigers in this playoff game here at the Capital Hoop Summer League. What do you have to say about your performance?
I feel like, came out a little rusty, had a few missed shots, but I just stuck with it and, had a big lead there in the second half, and then we let up a little bit, and then we finally pulled through. So I felt like it was a good performance.
Again, though, the playoffs got off to a fiery start. 16 teams. Out of that 16, 4 public schools made it.
Yeah, definitely showing off that public schools around the DMV, Maryland, D.C., and Virginia can really hoop and show what they have and can come up and compete against these private schools as well, who dominate with imported talent versus the homegrown talent we see with these public schools. And on the other side of the bracket in the second round, we had 2 great games as we had Landon taking on PATRIOT. PATRIOT, one of our public schools that we've seen coming into this, who had a great showing and show what public schools were about, but they ran into the buzzsaw that was Tyler Perkins from Landon.
Man, that's a league MVP right now, man. That boy in ball. I believe he averaged 23, 24 points?
25 points. 25 points per game for Landon. And on the other side, you had Georgetown Prep, who came in as a 10 seed in the playoffs. 7-3 during the regular season, taking on the undefeated, as you mentioned, TAKOMA Academy, but they beat him by 8, 70-62, and came out strong in that one.
Now, Rawan Gray's on that squad too, and he made the Capital Hoop Summer League team. Now, he's been hooping all summer. Now, he got some dunks. He got a nice little dunk package right there. He probably on 2K right now. But I got to see what you got going on for real. But he definitely hooped out this summer for him.
But, I mean, it was Akbar Wahid alongside that entire Georgetown Prep squad, Gob Cody and Akeem Clark and all those boys who were able to come out with a W in that one.
So moving over to the third round, got to talk about that Dematha Hayfield game. That was a huge game. That game was close the whole entire way. Halftime, I believe this might have been the lowest scoring game that I've been to all summer. Halftime was 30-24. I mean, like, defense was stifling on both sides. There was really no transition basketball, really. Both teams were forcing each other to play half-court ball. So we got to talk about this Malcolm Thomas on Greg Jones matchup. I saw it a lot throughout the game. Greg Jones definitely was giving it to Malcolm Thomas, but he definitely came back now. I saw a few times where Greg Jones took Malcolm Thomas off the dribble, drove inside and tried to flick up that floater off the backboard, and it fell a few times. But I got to talk about the monster dunk. Now, Malcolm Thomas caught the ball at the top of the key. David King, now David King's a great player. Sized him up with the in and out, crossed over to the right, hit a quick drop step and went straight up 2 hands. Boom! Had the gym going crazy on that play right there. Make sure you check that out online now.
And you saw from the rafters, he's got his dad, Eton, looking down. You got to wonder, did Eton come in and teach him some NBA tricks and some of those tricks that earned him some accolades in college and while he was in the NBA?
Definitely, man. I can only imagine that ride home and you just looking like, that's a grown man dunk right there. That's what I teach my son right there. Respect, guys, respect. Shout out to the Thomas family.
And I mean, Greg Jones only scoring 12 points in that game, really limited. You talk about that Dematha defense. I mean, you had some guys like Jaden Winston, Isaiah Arnold, who were just coming in on defense, just not giving anyone an inch. Greg Jones averaged 24 points during the regular season, during the 10 games of regular season, coming to the playoffs in the semifinal game, and just got absolutely just dominated.
There's got to be strategy by Coach Jones because the end of that game, I saw like the guys, Jaden Winston was holding them some. Next thing you know, it was Mason So. Next thing you know, it was Isaiah Arnold. I mean, everybody was pretty much getting pieces. I even saw Lewis and Adam Fox down there too. Everybody was out there getting it. They had to shut that man down again, one of the leading scorers in the league. Got to give a shout out to David King too, because David King was definitely in the paint. He was definitely causing some ruckus. He grabbed a lot of rebounds and some putbacks in that game. And him and Greg Jones were coming off big games the night before against the TINLEY Tigers.
Yeah, Greg Jones had dropped 26, and I believe that David King had 29 points and 16 boards. Crazy game. But
again, that goes to show you each game, the strategy is different every single game. Coach is definitely on that pad over there writing down his notes, stuff like that. And again, everybody's making an impact. Everybody's doing their job. And again, this is how great teams move on to the next round. And again, they went undefeated, so each stage they're getting better.
And I mean, talk about players making an impact. Mason So, 20 points, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. There's a reason that he won the postseason most outstanding player, because he came in after not being able to play so much during the regular season, just absolutely balled out for Dematha.
Definitely made an impact. I remember, honestly, the first time I saw Mason So, I believe it was on a backdoor cut. He caught it and went up 2 hands strong and caught a body on live TV. That's what I got to say right there. But, I mean, definitely balled out, definitely made an impact. That team and that roster has a lot of talent on it. I'm very excited to see what I'm going to see.
On the other side of the bracket, we had Georgetown Prep taking on Landon. Georgetown Prep led by Akbar Rahid, 28 points, 11 boards, and went 7 of 14 from three-point line. Team as a whole went 19 of 37, just raining down threes. But I mean, other than Tyler Perkins, 28 points and 10 steals. You don't see double doubles with points and steals.
28 points and 11 rebounds in this game. Talk to me about what we saw on the floor tonight.
It was a great game all around between both teams. My teammates, we came together. They found me a lot. They started dishing the ball, so I credit to them.
Guys, the defense, again, Summer League has been big. The strategy's been big. I've been seeing man defense. I've seen a lot of zones. I've seen substitutions and coaches switching it just like that. Again, confusion, but 10 steals? Now, Akbar has been he's been very big for those guys over there at Georgetown Prep all season long. It's like that, but still, 10 steals now. You get your hands in there every single time. Like,
I mean, he was there in lanes. He was ripping away from guys. But, I mean, talking about defense, got a guy, 6'10", Gob Cody, rising sophomore for Georgetown Prep, had several blocks in a game. I mean, he averaged 2 per game throughout the entire season. I mean, even with 22 turnovers at Georgetown Prep, they came in, they took care of business, winning by 20, 80-60. I mean, Landon, not a lot of support for Tyler Perkins, but he did his thing. I mean, there's a reason why he was MVP during the regular season, and we saw Georgetown Prep move on to the championship game to face Dematha. And culminating our championship game between Georgetown Prep and Dematha, and was probably the best game that we've seen the whole summer, and the first game that was so contentious, so tight, even went to overtime.
First game, overtime, and this was a big game right here, man. Again, the defense was tremendous on both parts. It was so tight from tip to end. Again, this was straight strategy right here. I feel like Georgetown came in here ready to fight with an undefeated team, and they didn't look like an underdog. They didn't look like a number 10 seed to me.
I mean, only down by 4 at halftime. It was only 24-20 at the half. Very low scoring in the first half before things picked up in the second half.
But Noah, coming out of halftime, man, again, the intensity pick up. I told you at the table, I felt like right now at this moment, Dematha was going to wake up. Because right there at that moment, I honestly felt like Georgetown possibly could have built a little bit of lead. Because again, Akbar and the guys they were penetrating the lane. They were definitely beating Dematha's press. They were definitely getting the ball across half court with no problem, getting quick, easy baskets from guys cutting baseline. I felt like, honestly, Georgetown was playing Dematha's normal game. Dematha normally brings the ball up court, and they're trying to get the ball up top, and they're looking for their cutters to cut baseline and hit somebody cutting to get a quick layup. And I felt as though that entire first half, Georgetown had Dematha playing their pace and playing their game. But again, coming out of the second half, the intensity picked up on both sides. Dematha started pressing, and they put a little pressure. They put some pressure on Georgetown because I believe Akbar, for about 6 possessions, he missed about 4 shots.
Well, I mean, also you saw Georgetown Prep change their game in the second half because they realized that there was no penetration. So you saw them kick it out a lot. You saw guys like Akbar Wahid, Patrick McDonough, and Akeem Clark making big-time threes. You got to mention R.J. Stewart and Lee Brunner as well, making some key shots down the stretch. And they kind of adjusted where the paint was too clogged up, so they're kicking it out and just kind of putting up threes, getting guys in their spots. McDonough hit a couple threes.
Yeah.
Akbar Wahid hit 2 or 3 threes in the second half. And I mean, as I mentioned, it was Akeem Clark who hit that one big one right at the very end, extended into overtime. So definitely great adjustments out of the half.
Now, that was a big-time shot, too. We did get the chance to speak with him after the game, and he talked about nothing but trust from his teammates right there leading up to that moment. But you also got to talk about that big dunk that he had, too. Off that steal, they stripped the ball right from Mason So, got that quick pass, and he caught it with the left and finished.
Wapkota averages 2 blocks per game. Akeem Clark slams it home.
Hardly any transition. If there was any transition, I believe it was quick baskets. I believe Dematha was literally coming down, setting up their offense, trying to get a quick shot in roughly 7 to 10 seconds within their offense. But as soon as they got their basket, as soon as the ball got inbounded by Georgetown, it was an outbound pass to a player that had already leaked out, getting a quick basket. It was literally back to back again, 20 to 24 at halftime.
And I mean, that contention and that closeness made its way into the second half where we had Akeem Clark for Georgetown hitting a 3-pointer to tie it up at 51 with 2.5 seconds left and eventually send the game into the overtime period that we saw.
Look for Georgetown to look for a quick basket and try to get to the free throw line.
Runner up to Stewart, 7 seconds. They need a 3. Akeem Clark for 3. Count it! Akeem Clark!
Clutch shot right there.
Big time shot. My
fellas,
goodness.
I think we're about to see some overtime basketball, fellas.
I mean, you can't talk about this game as a whole without talking about these last 2 or 3 minutes where we had some really clutch shooting and some really clutch playmaking that we saw. And I mean, we saw Mason So make 4 free throws at the very end, and we had Georgetown Prep with 2 key 3-pointers. First, it was Akbar Wahid from the corner. We had Akeem Clark drive down the line and kick it right back. Wahid found his spot and just absolutely drained it. And then at the very end, after Mason So with 2 free throws to put Dematha up 51 to 48, we saw R.J. Stewart bring it down the court. He had a wide open lane to the basket.
I saw that.
And he instead flipped it behind his head, and Akeem Clark from range, because that was pretty far back.
That was a tough shot. Like, first off, I swear I thought he was going to take the layup. I thought we were going to go with a tie game. I thought we were going to get a tie game. If not, try to go for the layup and try to get that foul right there with Dematha having that late lead. Because, again, Mason So at that point in time was perfect from the free throw. He hadn't missed a free throw yet. So, I mean, the strategy within that moment. But, again, for him to find Clark wide open. Now, again, he wasn't right up on the three-point line. Like, the boy definitely had some space.
And we also had a chance to talk with Akeem Clark about that moment, about the mentality, about shooting that three and the opportunity he was given by his team and by his coaches.
So I want you to walk me through that final play again. You say your point guard drove into the lane, found you out there deep. You weren't even close to the line. That was a deep three right there. That was a real big-time shot that sent him in overtime. Talk to me about that moment.
I was just ready for the moment, just looking ready for the pass. He could have passed it to Akbar, but he trusted me too, and I knocked down the shot.
But let's go ahead and jump into overtime. Again, first overtime of Summer League right here. And if I'm correct, it was only, 3-4 minutes?
It was a 4-minute overtime, yeah.
Now, honestly, I could have got a whole nother half. Again, this game was so good to me, but the 4 minutes settled with me. It was good to go.
I mean, you had dudes stepping up left and right. I mean, Isaiah Arnold hit 2 big-time threes in that overtime period. I mean, I think that you talked to him after the game, and he had some things to say about those three-pointers.
Man, it was that step-back three, man. He came down right on the left wing, man. I believe he hit him with an in-and-out quick step-back.
In the driver's seat right now. Arnold pulls up for three.
Talk to me about that last three that you took right here, coming down in that position right there. That was a tough shot, man. A tough shot, pull up right in his face right there, man. Talk to me about that moment.
It was kind of a bad shot, honestly. But I know I can hit it. Coach believes in me, trusts me to take them shots. I think we were 5 in the moment. Kind of wanted to send him away home with a big note. So, I had to take the shot, be the guy.
Now, I believe he said that was a bad shot. He said that was a horrible shot. But he failed. You shoot that shot, it falls.
Confidence is key in those moments. We had some clutch free throw shooting again. Mason So went 6 for 6 in this game from the line, including 2 free throws in overtime. And
it was a little rough in the beginning. I missed a few shots, but I was able to get those free throws in the end to seal the deal.
Georgetown Prep had a chance to win at the end because, I mean, they were down by 2, 63-61, but they just ran out of room. I saw that they had drawn up a play. Coach Howard Blue had drawn up a play,
yeah.
But Patrick McDonough just not had the room to put up a good shot. It went a little too far, and Dematha was just able to celebrate it after that.
10 seconds. Georgetown Prep down by 2. Stewart with the ball. They don't need a three. Brunner, McDonough from the corner. Too strong! And the Dematha Stags are your 2022 Capital Hoop Summer League champions. Back-to-back for the Stags.
That is how you close out that game.
And McDonough just not able to put it in the basket. But, I mean, you got to give the props to the Dematha Stags, the hosts, the back-to-back champions, a brand-new squad, brand-new starting 5. Had some guys that really stepped up, and they were able to secure that championship for the 2022 Capital Hoop Summer League.
Again, that roster's great. It's loaded with talent. But I think you still got to give it at the end of the day to the man above, Coach Mike Jones. Again, you said he just started out in April. This is his first summer league, first few weeks with the guys, and again, undefeated. I guess this is Dematha. This is Dematha ball right here. Go Stags.
I mean, we've talked to Coach Jones a couple times, and we talked about how his strategy and his outlook on what his players been doing and the things that he's seen on the court as a brand new head coach.
And lastly, we did notice that your team is deep. It wasn't, just one player that led you guys to this win. You had big contributions from from Isaiah Arnold, and from Fox working out there in the middle, especially in the second half. What do you have to say about your team and your depth?
We always try to make adjustments. Georgetown Prep did an excellent job preparing for us, our pressure and everything, so we had to come in and just really execute on the offensive end and communicate on the defensive end and try to limit them to one shot. We did a pretty good job of that, like down the stretch with about 5 minutes remaining. We were able to pull away and get the win.
Post-game, we had an opportunity to talk to not only the Dematha team about their win, which was extraordinary, and get a few players to come inside, but we also had an exclusive sit-down interview with Etan Thomas, 11-year NBA veteran and 2-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year at Syracuse, to talk about what he sees in the Dematha team and maybe just a little bit about his son, Malcolm.
And watching Dematha through the regular season, through the postseason, of course, your son playing on Dematha, what have you noticed from this program as it's developed throughout these past 6 weeks?
Well, Mike Jones came in and got the guys together really quickly. They didn't really have a lot of practice time, but he has been leading them in the summer league really well. They've all responded really, really well to him. He's a teacher, instructing them of what he wants them to do, and they're gelling really quickly. It's going to be really fun to see them this season. We got a little bit of taste of what they could accomplish here in the summer league, but really, to carry that momentum onto the season, it's going to be exciting to watch.
We also got the opportunity to speak with head coach from Georgetown Prep, Howard Blue. after the game, and he had a great message for the people at home. He feels that a lot of people view the program as underdogs, but he says throughout this summer league, the guys definitely showed heart. They showed that they could step up and play at the highest level. And he said he's going to surprise a lot of people coming this fall.
Knew that coming into this game with the guys that we had a chance to win. I know on paper, and I know what some people talk about in the community. Might not see what I see, but I think we're one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the area. And I wish those guys had an opportunity, one more minute to have figured it out, and truly have shown everybody else that. But I think come the wintertime, we're going to shock a lot of people. We're going to get better, and our program is going to continue to weigh all of our success on our development, and our players are going to get better. If you saw us in the beginning of the summer, every man that's still getting playing time is way better than they were in early June, and that's something that we're going to continue to do. So when you see us in November, we're going to have the same faces, but we're going to look a whole lot better.
And now moving on to covering our all-Capital Hoop Summer League 2022 first, second, and third teams.
Leading the way with the first team, we got our league MVP, Tyler Perkins, coming out of Landon. Now, Tyler hooped all summer league, man. Again, like you said, leading the league, 25 points per game, 7 rebounds, a true standout all the way into the playoffs.
Following him, we got Greg Jones out of Hayfield, who needs no introduction. We saw everything from him, and then also Nick Lewis out of Gonzaga, both players averaging about 24 points and 8 boards per game. Definitely. Just stellar in what we saw from them.
Both with plenty of offers from this summer, both great two-way players, and I'm very excited to see what the future holds for both of them.
And rounding out the first team, Gibraltar Coleman out of Flint Hill. We didn't get a chance to see a lot of, but he had a great year.
Definitely had a great year. Again, strong showing, 22 points, 9 rebounds. I know he got a lot of looks this year because that's very nice, close to a double-double right there. You round up right there.
And then also, finally, Rob Dockery out of Jackson Reed. And we did get a chance to talk to him earlier in the year. He averaged 16 points and 9 rebounds. We were able to catch up with him earlier on in the season.
Now, Rob's a big guy. Rob's done a great job. He's very athletic, running the floor very well, grabbing the rebounds and pushing the ball and pushing the tempo a lot. I like what I see from him, too. Coming in with our second team, again, our number 2 undefeated team off of TAKOMA Academy, we got Rowan Gray. He went throughout the summer averaging 16 points and 7 rebounds.
Next up on the list, Jaden Winston out of Dematha, the point guard who was averaging 11 points per game and was pretty much the main facilitator, the main spark. I mean, didn't play in the championship game because he got suspended from the previous game, but in those 13 games leading up, he was just doing everything for the Stags.
We got a great interview with Jaden earlier during the summer as well, where he gave us pretty much from his point of view, his job as Dematha's point guard and the impact that he's having on the team and how he wants to lead them to the future.
How's the communication out there again with the defense? The defense starting with you, that zone, from the zone press all the way to the half-court ball and stuff like that. Again, y'all, the ball was moving, y'all getting here, y'all trapping on the corners, y'all trapping in the wings, so like that. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, I just gotta talk, be a leader, communicate, get everybody where they're supposed to be. Start with me, everybody's gonna follow me.
Again, you truly got some guys that are truly standouts out here. A lot of great players and a lot of great talent out there. But again, a double-double in Summer League, you all over the place.
We also have Aiden Harris from St. Mary's Annapolis, 18 points and 9 rebounds, so also close that double-double category.
Everybody's right there.
And then finally, Khalil Williams from the Potomac School, 18 points and 6 rebounds per game. So it's a very respectable number still on the second team.
I know a lot of these guys are getting a lot of looks out here during the live period, and they definitely deserve, again, great standout play, guys.
And now on to our third team, led by Cyrus Chisholm out of Sandy Spring with 15 points and 9 rebounds per game, along with DANTE MAYO out of Richard Montgomery with a very high 22 points per game for that squad. And Joseph Baldwin out of Fairfax Christian with 14 points per game, but he put on a show for us in a lot of games.
I feel like he was honestly the best dunker of Summer League. I mean, if they had a trophy for that, I think my man definitely would have walked away with it. Again, but my man got bunnies. He got bunnies.
And we got David King out of Hayfield, 16 points, 8 rebounds per game, averaging 8 rebounds at only 6'3". I mean, he was a box-out machine. He was boxed out dude 6'6", 6'7", a lot taller than him, and grabbing those boards.
Now, for the state of Virginia, David King led the region last season. Last season in rebounds on the way to a 32-0 record with the Hayfield Hawks and the state championship.
And then finally, you got Toby Raji out of Eleanor Roosevelt with 16 points and 15 boards per game. That's a true double-double right there if I've ever seen it.
I got to see my man Ham. My man is out here grabbing them left and right. Ain't nobody boxing them out. Clearly 15 rebounds per game. I got to see the numbers. I got to see the stats, offense and defense. That man is everywhere.
And now moving on to some honorable mentions. We didn't quite make the cut, but we saw some great stuff from them too. I mean, you got Akbar Wahid out of Georgetown Prep who lit it up in the playoffs. Caden,
3 games, right? 3 games, 28-plus points?
28 points in 3 games in the playoffs.
Definitely honorable mention there.
You got Caden Diggs out of Bullis. Also great performances. Frankie Menino and Landon, who averaged about 12 points per game and put up some big shots during the regular season with Tyler Perkins on that Landon squad.
Definitely did. I saw a few of their games too. Great squad there.
And as we mentioned, Isaiah Arnold from Dematha, who again rose up in the postseason and hit some clutch shots, especially in that championship game without their leading point guard.
Definitely did. You can't forget his regular season game too. Isaiah Arnold, if I'm correct, dropped 29 points, 9 of 11 from 3, and only missed 2 shots that game?
10 of 12 that game.
10 of 12 that game, 9 of 11. Like, come on, man.
And then a team that didn't quite show out, Oxon Hill, had one player that did show out, Isaiah Payne, who was leading them in pretty much every statistical category. And then out of Gonzaga, you had a guy like Ryan Sable, whose dad, Ed, played at Georgetown, and Ryan was just raining it down from all over the court.
Again, a lot of great players out there. Congratulations to all you guys. And again, continue to work and get ready for the season. I'm excited to see all you guys.
And this is only just a small portion. The rest of your honorable mentions and a full breakdown of the list can be found at CapitalHoopSummerLeague.com. So go check it out over there to see all your favorite players and what they've been doing for their squads.
Again, great summer league, Noah. But we really got to talk about the man with the plan, the man behind the scenes that pulls all the strings together, Mark Stern. You did get the chance to interview him, right?
I did. I mean, he's the real MVP behind this. Tyler Perkins might have taken home the trophy, but Mark Stern is doing everything as the director of this whole thing. And yeah, we did get a chance to sit down with him and talk about what it's like to run this league as a whole and talk about how it's developed under his vision. And you know, this is kind of a different iteration of this summer league. I mean, it's been going on for over a decade now, but as you take the reins of it, how are you making it your own and applying changes to make it even better and better for these teams?
Yeah, so always picking the right schools is important. Having a good mix of publics and privates is important. I like to give the public school kids and programs some shine and some opportunity to come out here and play in this beautiful facility and kind of test their skills and take a lot of losses along the way, but you know, it sharpens them up for the regular season. So that's something I take a lot of pride in. Hiring a big staff of interns. I think we have 32 interns this year to kind of help me run day-to-day operations and run the whole media side of Summer League is another thing I take a lot of pride in. And just giving kids an opportunity to showcase their skills, get publicity for it, do interviews with them, give them a lot of accolades on social media for their, for what they do is obviously a big piece of the puzzle as well. So, it kind of all comes together here. That's what we got going on.
And along with everything we've been seeing on the court, we see some amazing plays, some amazing players. On the sidelines, we have some actual history being made.
We definitely did. Got to give a shout out to Springbrook and their first-time head coach, the first and only female head basketball coach to coach in Capital Hoops Summer League history. Coach Mariam Tesfa-Michael, shout out to you.
All right, this is Mariam Tesfa-Michael with Springbrook, a.k.a. The Brook, and we're here with SASN.TV.
And as we conclude our wrap-up of the 2022 Capital Hoops Summer League, we can't forget to give our picks for what we're going to see at the private and the public levels out of these teams that have come up and shown what they have in the Summer League. I mean, for me, I got to go with the champs, Dematha. I mean, they won a perfect, undefeated season. You have a brand new starting 5, and they showed what they could do. Small ball, they had some bigs that really had a presence in the middle. I mean, obviously, you have the big man, Malcolm Thomas, and I mean, we mentioned guys like Jaden Winston, Isaiah Arnold, who are coming into their own as the leaders of this squad.
I think definitely I got to give a shout out to my guys over at Georgetown Prep. Again, after that championship game, seeing them fight throughout the season, come in as underdogs, and especially with the message that Coach Howard Blue gave at the end of the game in his interview. Again, he's got a lot of people that he's set to prove wrong, and that squad definitely has that it factor about them. I'm very excited to see what the future brings for them this fall. Another pick of mine, honestly, I feel like coming out of Virginia, you got to give it Hayfield. Again, Hayfield balled out all season. Greg Jones, David King. Again, I'm excited to see what they're going to do. Again, you can't go wrong with them. They lost a few key guys off to college, but again, they're coming off a state championship and a 32-0 record. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure Coach got a lot of things up his sleeve. This, again, was just a warm-up just to get the guys ready and move further into the season. I'm very excited to see what they're going to bring to the table.
And, I mean, they have some dudes that also stepped up. I mean, you had DJ Holloway, Ryan Payne, just to name some names that we saw really coming to their own down the stretch. But, I mean, another public school that I like a lot is Jackson Reed that came in strong.
Definitely did. With Rob Dockery, again, I know he was out in the play. He was out in their second round game and stuff like that, but still definitely excited to see what that team's going to be like when he's back and healthy.
And that'll do it for our wrap-up of the Capital Hoop Summer League for 2022. This has been DMV Hoop Session presented by the Scholar Athlete Sports Network. For Noah Schubert alongside Marquel Sanders, we're going to see you later on football season with DMV Gridiron. And make sure that you search up SASN TV on all socials to keep up with all things DMV sports. So long, farewell, and have a great night.